think if Wigan beat Leeds, then they'll know they only have to win one of their other games to get in, because they can win, that one game can be Castleford or Hull, and then that's all she wrote, isn't it, on that situation, because you're hurting another team's win percentage whilst benefiting your own.
My instinct is I think KR will stay where they are. I think they'll stay fifth, but I think FC and Wigan will swap. I think Leeds and Castle will be on the outer.
Yeah, I think Wigan and Hull FC will squeeze in, and then whoever wins that Hull KR Leeds match on the final day will be the other team.
Yeah, might be.
Interesting stuff.
Is that a KR or?
I can't remember now. I can't remember what we said. It is at Leeds.
Yeah, that's obviously in their favour. Well,
slightly in their favour, but I think there's less fear factor, isn't there, when everyone played there every week?
Yeah, it's just an advantage, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, for the competition's sake, I hope it does come down to that last round, because it's in desperate need of a bit of excitement and interest.
Yep. Okie dokes. What I would be saying is don't book your travel tickets for those last two games yet, because Sky will be looking around plenty, won't they, for out of those selections that we went through.
It sounds like it.
Okay, what else have we got to say? Women's Super League game of the week: Wigan versus Castleford on Sunday at 3 p.m. Castleford will be looking to bounce back to a loss to Leeds. Wigan haven't played for ages, so it should be interesting. Do you think Cass, having got a game under the belt, will be in a strong position for this one, or do you think Wigan have been slightly better than Cass so far this year, so maybe that might stay?
I feel like Wigan have been better. Because I presume this is it at Robin Park, presumably?
It is at Robin Park. There will be fans allowed to attend, so
I'm going to say, first game at home for quite a while. I'm going to say Wigan are going to pip this one.
My Uncle Liam doesn't want to go to Cass on Monday. He's got, I don't know, work or... Oh, no, he's working, yeah. He's working. Because cows don't know it's bank holidays. That's what he always tells me. So he's working on the Monday. So potentially that I'm going to this Wigan Castleford game rather than the Monday one. And also this is probably the Wigan team for me to be supporting right now. Championship game of the week: Whitehaven versus Widnes, Sunday 3 p.m. I think this is a game that if Widnes lose, then they're definitely not within a chance. Where if it's Whitehaven win this, London will have to be fearful of a playoff spot, which would be a huge fall for that club. Yeah,
it would be. But yeah, Whitehaven have been in decent nick, so yeah, it won't surprise me.
League One game of the week: Hunslet versus Coventry, Sunday at 3 p.m. I think both these two sides are, on the outer at the moment.
Yeah.
I think if Coventry lose this, they're definitely gone. If Hunslet lose this, they're probably gone. But Coventry might think we could put a run in here. And they beat Hunslet, didn't they, earlier in the season?
Yeah, it's an absolute must-win for both of them. So, yeah, big match.
NRL Brit Picks: Knights versus Titans, Thursday at 10:50. Maybe Dom Young plays there. Warriors versus Raiders, Friday at 9 a.m. Maybe some Raiders play there. Roosters versus Rabbitohs, Friday 10:55 a.m. Tom Burgess should play there. Dragons versus Cowboys, Saturday 6 a.m. George Burgess almost certainly won't play, but you never know. Sharks versus Broncos, Saturday. I assume he hasn't played yet. Sharks versus Broncos, Saturday 8:30 a.m. Herbie Farnworth is potentially a Broncos player. And Seagulls versus Bulldogs, Sunday at 4:50 a.m. as Luke Thompson continues to try and persuade other clubs to sign him. Please get your fan views in on all of those games for next week's show. Mark your cards that those Super League games we'll be talking about on Friday night, when David has promised a half-an-hour rant too about Willie Isa, so I hope he's not going to be a hypocrite and is going to spend half an hour also talking about James Bentley. But if he doesn't, then I'll call him out for it. But yeah, So we'll be talking about those, recording a show on Friday evening that you can listen to over the weekend as you travel to all of those other wonderful matches that we've got coming up. So we'll do our predictions for the Bank Holiday Super League games on the weekend. But get all your fan views in and get them in promptly for the Super League ones. Okie dokes, that is episode 316 almost done. Just a little bit of a informal wrap-up time to go. Wrap-up time. I've got the most straightforward quiz for you this week, I think.
Excellent.
This week's quiz, because we talked about them a bit at the end of the news, and it seemed like an obvious idea. Sinfield or Borough?
Okay.
So, 3 questions. One of them is very easy. I'm not going to lie. 2 of them might need a bit more thought. Starting with, who scored the most tries for Leeds, Sinfield or Borough?
Is this the easy one?
No. Actually, I didn't do them in that order.
All right, okay.
I didn't do them in the easiest first order. The easiest is the second one.
Because that doesn't feel like an obvious question. I think it might be Borough.
It was Borough convincingly. He scored 198 compared to Sinfield's 86.
Jeez, okay.
The obvious one, who scored the most points for Leeds?
Even with that try disparity, I think it was Sinfield.
Remarkably it was. 3,967 is what Wikipedia tells me. I'm sure someone will fact check that and tell me differently. Compared to Borough's 1,111.
So there's at least one drop goal in that.
He scored several drop goals, in fact, but when I looked at drop goals as an option, Sinfield kicked about 30, whereas Borough did kick a dozen or so.
Right.
Well, obviously not a dozen. He kicked an odd number.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sinfield is the answer there.
Okay.
Who played the most games for Leeds, Sinfield or Borough?
Sinfield.
How much of a disparity do you think it is?
It's probably quite a bit closer than I think. Maybe about 50 games in it, something like that.
It's fewer than 50 games in it, according to Wikipedia. Sinfield had 521 compared to Borough's 493. So less than 30 games different.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
3 from 3. I'm hoping Dr. Bob got 3 from 3 there as well.
It did feel like it was the Dr. Bob quiz. Yeah, very good.
I mean, I could have done like Ablett or Hall if I was really wanting to do a Dr. Bob quiz, but you know, every week without fail, he tells us how much he's failed on the quiz. So hopefully this week he'll get to tell us that he's succeeded.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Or it gets in his head so much that he's fucked it.
Surely not. Surely he'll be cool under pressure.
What recommendations have you got for us this week?
Oh, not very much. I don't know if I've recommended this before, and I don't know if anyone else has ever recommended it, but you know, we've been here a while. And
we don't keep a spreadsheet.
We don't keep a spreadsheet of these things. We keep a spreadsheet of everything else, or Matt does. I
used to. I don't even have a spreadsheet that tells me who's on next week's show yet. So,
well, we all know that's a little bit fluid this year. Yeah. So my recommendation is Ghosts.
Like, as in being scared by them, or no? I know what you mean. The
popular BBC One comedy drama. Yes, so it's back. It's been back a couple of weeks now. It's on its 3rd series. I hope you can catch up with it on iPlayer if you haven't yet. It's incredibly good. Yeah, I've
never watched it. I sort of feel like the first series came and went, but it's picked up a bit more momentum, hasn't it? I
didn't watch it first time round. I'll tell you what it was. I spotted they had a Christmas special coming up, and obviously last Christmas just gone, you know what I mean, last year. And I thought, right, well, that's a good opportunity. So obviously it's 6-episode series because that's the way that we do it in the UK. And yeah, so kind of in the Christmas break, I kind of watched them all before the Christmas special was on.
Because if it's getting a Christmas special, they've got faith in it, haven't they?
Exactly. And the Christmas special is fantastic. It's very it references bits and pieces connected to what shit year 2020 had been. You know, it's very what's the word? Its heart is really it wears its heart on its sleeve. It's very well acted, and it's got a really good style to it. But yeah,
it'll have been a good social distancing loophole, that, wouldn't it, having ghosts?
They're not solid. You're absolutely fine. But yeah, no, it's very good. It's very funny. It's a good kind of chilled out thing to watch. So Ghosts is my recommendation.
Good stuff. We watched Deceit on Channel 4 this week. We watched all the episodes of that because the game was off on Thursday, so I could watch TV with my wife instead. It was about a sort of police sting operation, I suppose, is the best way to call it. I guess an undercover op to try and expose a killer, from a true story from a famous case from the 90s, but because I was only like 10 when it happened, it's not one that I remembered or knew about beyond, you know, in any sort of detail or anything. So yeah, that was a good watch. It was pretty well acted, I thought. I enjoyed it for sure. So I'd suggest that. I would not necessarily a recommendation, but I was going to talk a bit about what I did at the weekend.
Yeah.
Because it's got a little bit of rugby league sort of segue, I suppose. But I watched I went to Chester Races for a stag do. So we were there in the drizzly rain all afternoon at Chester, but I was so drunk that I didn't really notice the weather too much. And we missed the first race. We only got in just after that had finished. But the next four races, I didn't really have any success. Marwan Kukash had a few runners, and I put some money on a couple of his early on, and nothing came in. But in the fifth race, it contributed to me having a first and second place, which recouped all the money I'd bet and gave me a cushion for the next couple of races where I won again. So I had a reason, you know. We're talking small bets. We're not talking anything more than a tenner. But I ended up and paying for my ticket and stuff with my winnings and a little bit extra to spare. So that was a happy thing. But it made me sort of think about Marwan Kukash again, and then his mouth was opened up as well over the weekend, weren't it? It's not. We don't talk about it as a news story because it's not. No matter how much the BBC Rugby League website seems to want it to be, but yeah, he seems to be wanting to get back involved, and the whole is he going to go into partnership with Derek at Lee angle has been reprised, and I just think what a fucking nightmare boardroom that would be for anyone else on the board.
Yeah, I won't fancy being in those meetings.
And also for the RFL. I mean, how much hard work would any meeting be when those two rock up on the same side, but they won't be on the same page? So
I'd like to think that was a chapter of history that had closed and wasn't coming back. But,
do you think there'd be any entertainment value from Degsy and Kukash partnering up?
Not for me. To be honest, we've got enough clowns in the game. We don't need any more. Thank you very much.
But thanks to him for contributing to me being up on the races.
Well, thanks to the horses, and the little men that ride them.
Yeah, that's true. So what we've got coming up, we've got David's going to drop in on Friday where we're going to catch up on the midweek Super League action and make our predictions for the weekend Super League action. If there's any significant